Hello and welcome to The Fab Show. My name is Tamara Hunter and I am this week's host. You know, we're going to be talking about something that is timely, important, impactful, and if you decide to do something about it, it could actually save your lives. I am serious. This is probably one of the most important shows that we have done here at the Fabulous Show. So, what do you think? Let's talk. We have a fabulous panel with us. Yes, wink, wink. And we are talking preparedness. And are you ready? And I want you to get to know my friends, your friends, those that you're going to be taking notes. Get your pen and paper out and write it down. You're going to want to. So let's start with Sharla. Where are you today in the world? I see a world map behind you. Where on that map are you?
I am in Antigua, South Carolina, but I reside in Panama City, Florida.
Excellent. Wonderful. And we're going to go to Wanita.
Good day, everyone. My name is Juanita Kapp, and I'm from South Africa, but today I'm streaming from Temple, Texas.
Excellent. Next, we have Skip Poe. You are muted.
How about now? There we go. How about that? Hi, everybody. I'm Skip, and also known sometimes as Poe, which my granddaughter gave me that name. And I'm coming from North Arkansas near Mountain View, Fox, Arkansas, in the Ozark Mountains.
Wonderful. And Cammy.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cammy. I'm from Transylvania, Romania. I lived over 20 years in the States, in Arizona, and now I came back to Romania, where I reside now, in Transylvania.
Excellent. See, we have an international group here for you. And what are we really going to be talking about? Well, Wanita said it best. Let's listen to her video.
Good day, everyone. This is Juanita Kapp from the Meticulous Moment Show, and I'm very excited to join our expert panel today on the Let's Talk Fabulous Show with my good friend and awesome sister, Tamara Hunter. And we are going to be talking about the topic of preparedness. How prepared are you? Now, I want to ask you that question today. Think about it. How prepared are you? Prepared for what, you may ask? Let me explain. How prepared are you if the day arrives when everything goes haywire? Now, I'm from South Africa, and I live on a beautiful farm on the Eastern Cape. And in Africa, we have learned to always be prepared. We have something called load shedding, and I'll elaborate a little bit more about that during the course of today's show. But how prepared are you if the electricity goes off? Because load shedding has to do with having electricity at certain times of the day, not having electricity for certain times of the day. How prepared are you if you all of a sudden have no access to fresh flowing water? Think about it. When the electricity goes off, the water pumps go off. How prepared are you to rough it out for a few days or a month or maybe even longer? Do you have a surplus of food? Do you have extra chargers for your devices? What will charge the charge? Do you have access to inverters? Do you have spares for your tires on your vehicles? Do you have extra fuel? Do you have something that will keep you warm? We are going to have a lovely discussion on being prepared, the art of preparedness. And I'm looking forward to it, to seeing the panel and to being on this amazing Let's Talk About It fabulous show with Tamara Hunter. So I'll see you guys there.
So this is your show. And you also are there, and I love that that pose you've got going on with your trophy, and that is because what is your training? Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your training and where you're coming from? You talked about the farm and you talked about the location there, where you're from originally, and I have some beautiful pictures that you shared with me in regards to that. But you also have a unique background that not a lot of women actually have, right?
Yes, absolutely. I would be delighted to share that with you. My farm is in South Africa, beautiful farm in the Eastern Cape. But to answer your question, my background includes almost a decade's worth of training in the martial arts, guys. I am a brown belt in Shorin Shorinkan Karate and a second dan in Tang Soo Do. And I do also self-defense, boxing, kickboxing. In the karate side, we do kata and kumite and bladed and wooden weapons. And yeah, just learn the bunkai of the style so that you know what move is, what move in the kata is for what actual move you'll need it on the street for. So full contact dojo, but yes, I'm a fighter. I was a pastor for 15 years, but I also learned how to fight with ease.
And the reason I'm asking this is because one of the things when you and I were speaking, we were talking about, and we're going to be hearing from another video in a moment of an interview that actually Skip and I did on Friday. That's really fresh. Someone that has been through something just recent that many people are going to recognize here in the States, actually probably throughout the world. And we were talking about that preparedness piece of having that to-go bag, having that what some would call a bug-out bag. And you work with a lot of people that are in the military, special operations and such things like that. And you're like, oh, absolutely. That is a critical piece to be prepared. And that we as civilians, mom, dad, sister, brother, grandpa, grandma, can have those bags, correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. Actually, I've recently acquired some extra bags just to make sure that the whole family is equipped. You have to have that bag packed and ready at all times because really, audience, and this is something that everybody already knows, but we have to, and this is why this show is so important today. Every single panelist on here, they are very knowledgeable about this topic. And let me just explain. We can, and we know that we see now that the world can turn upside down at any moment. And we have to protect our loved ones and we have to be prepared. It's so important. And guys, I know sometimes, we think about it and then we forget about it again, but make it a point every day to check your bags and to see, are you prepared? Is everything in the bag? I'm talking supplies. Make sure the bags for the children aren't too heavy. Should they be on foot? You never know what can transpire in the world today. But water, fresh resources, things to make bring warmth, and you have these wonderful products out there that's not heavy, that you can actually put in your bag that will actually bring them warmth should something happen. But to be prepared is very, very important. Something medical in one of the bags at least. We have to look towards the future and we don't know what tomorrow holds. So being prepared, what can that hurt, right? It can only benefit you and your family. Make sure there's always at least one set of clothes that's ready with some shoes, maybe some sneakers that you are comfortable in. Make sure just that little pile in the corner of your room or each person's room is there ready and waiting, and have a call sign in your house. If there is a certain word that's used or, if there's a certain call out, everybody knows this is not a drill. We are heading out because our safety is super important.
Thank you. In fact, everyone, write that down. Absolutely. Thank you very much. I want to go now to Skip. We interviewed with someone on Friday, and I'm going to go to that clip. We're going to talk about it afterwards.
What happened some 30 days ago.
Asheville, North Carolina disaster in the mountains where there's never hurricanes. I was here during the fires that burned out the forest along the Blue Ridge, a few other major storms. This year, 2024 in Asheville has been crazy, like hundreds of days of rain. Then all of a sudden this storm just hits, all the things are blowing around, the trees come down, and this was just ongoing. Then the power's out. God, no Wi-Fi, no phones. I could sit here and be a victim and complain, but you know, people had their houses slide down mountains. 8 days with no communication, not knowing what was going on. We were just getting in our cars, putting on the AM radio. We heard about the storm. Then after 8 days, we started being able to go out and get supplies and find places to get water, you know, knowing that entire towns have been washed away, just gone. We were blocked off. We ran out of water. That's how I got a bleeding kidney infection. I had maybe 3 days for me and the animals, and then I started rationing because I have the therapy pets. That's why preparedness is so important. There's a mental aspect to it also. If you go into fear, you cannot be a responder. You're going to be a reactor. You have to be ready to respond. There are opportunities to find your higher self with your creator. There are lessons. All the community was coming together because we had no help. People were showing up in parking lots. I mean, the whole community in that neighborhood just started, everyone who had extra whatever just brought it there. The point of preparedness too is that more people can help if we are prepared.
Wow. You know, I want to bring you in, Skip, right now, because we spent an hour with Rae, and we want to thank Rae for her time and her story. I mean, we filmed for an hour, and her story is much more than Asheville, correct?
It really is.
I mean, to be able to talk like she did, I mean, her
right.
hope in there, right?
And her hope and her adjusting to the flow of what's happening. We can be prepared with all the details, but when certain things happen that are beyond comprehension, because she lived through 9/11, 2001. She was in New York and Bronx. She told the story in the long interview, and we may use this down the road, but she is a giving volunteer person. So she immediately went to the 9/11 site in New York to hand out water and sandwiches and whatever she could. Became very ill from the toxicity. And, but yet her passion to kind of persevere through adversity, even though the physical aspect was life-threatening to her. Most of the people that she was around have died since then. And when you look at what she went through in Asheville and the floods, and she still admitted it's been 30 days and she still hadn't had running water for a shower, and she had to ration her therapy bunnies and all this stuff. And she's taking, non-traditional kind of vitamins and herbs and things like that. But beyond that, and this is something I know Cammy very well can talk about, which is beyond just the physical part, the mental and spiritual part of being, not falling into fear, but falling into a power state of your spirituality and who you are. Because I know a little bit about Cammy's experience in Romania and Russia, and what happened through a transition that unbelievable things we can't imagine. And yet things are happening around the world right now that I think all of this really is an awakening for people to say, okay, I need to get grounded. And that's in body, mind, spirit, soul, all of them. And we're talking about a lot of physical things, but it's much broader. So I'd love to pass it back to you.
Right. Well, thank you. And I actually am going to bring Cammy's video up and bring Cammy up in a moment. Yet before that, I want to bring Sharla in, because Sharla, you also lived through rain and flooding and and you lost your home and everything. And that was a while ago. And now your experience, you know, there's so much hope, yet you can relate to what it is that was just shared, right?
What is so beautiful about this time and experience to be here on this show is to be able to follow Skip, because it's so absolutely perfect. And also the video that we watched. I went through 3 disasters. One, of course, I live in Florida, so there have been several hurricanes and a lot of things lost, but survived. But the 2 major ones was the morning that it was a routine doctor's visit for my husband that turned into making funeral arrangements. And then the second one was about 2 years later when I moved. I left, I was living in Georgia. I left Georgia, moved to Florida, and moved into a place, and there was a flood. And I lost, I would say, 3/4, maybe even more of everything I owned in that flood. We just simply just drug things out just by the masses. Nothing, hardly anything was salvageable. But most importantly, why I hit upon what Skip was talking about was in the preparedness. Yes, we need to be prepared with the staples and the items that are necessary to survive. But even more important is our mental, our physical, and our spiritual ability to survive. If we don't have that clarity of mind, and if we do not have the physical stamina to be able to do what has to be done during that disaster, and the strength that we obtain, you know, through our spiritual life, then there is sometimes very little hope. But as long as we maintain that strength and that will, and number one important, I pull my energies and my strength from the nature. Everything in nature is how I get my energy, because we are a part of the earth. We're not separate from the earth. We are the earth. And that's what I would like to share with everyone.
You know, perfect. And in fact, now what I'm going to do is I am going to bring up something that was shared by Cammy, and then bring Cammy on because I want to hear from you next.
Hi there, my name is Cammy from Transylvania, Romania. I was asked to talk to you about preparedness today. So I'm going to give you a very simple and honest example of what preparedness means to us over here. I mean, we are people who lived through communism. We are people who lived through years and years of dictatorship, of lack. So all things being considered, we prepared. We've learned to be prepared. So here's what we put together, just in case, you know, since the COVID experience, when the shops were empty sometimes, or we were not allowed to get out of the house, we learned to put aside a little bit, something, flour, you name it, sugar, oil. Anyway, being prepared is much more than just having the little bit of food or a little bit of water. It means to be prepared for greater things. Be prepared for many, many things that you don't even think about. Be prepared emotionally. Be prepared in your heart, in your soul. Be prepared to accept the unacceptable, and be prepared to accept the unexpected. So that's why each time we go in the forest, in the woods, to the forest, we always pick up branches, fallen down branches. We love to hike with a purpose too. So here is our stash of wood that we put together just in case we need to heat the house and there's no more gas or electricity or whatnot. So being prepared for me means being aware, being prepared to embrace the unexpected, being prepared to deal with things that come to us because life happens. So be prepared, open your mind, and know that we cannot control life.
We can control how we react to things that happen around us, wars and peace and joy and suffering. But this is my most honest advice. Be prepared for the unexpected. Be prepared. Open your mind, your heart, your soul. Be strong. Trust yourself. Trust your divine guidance. Trust in whatever divine forces you believe in.
Oh my, you know, when you sent that in, when I first saw it, tears in my eyes. You've been through a lot, haven't you?
Yes, ever since childhood. That's the advantage of having gone through tough times. You learn resilience. But yes, growing up in Romania was not always easy. So it was a dictatorship. There were tough times, the communist times. We used to joke because every week or every month there was a new surprise. First, the shops were empty. There was nothing to buy. We were standing in line sometimes all night long with our parents as kids for half a gallon of milk. Then we said, okay, what else can go wrong? Okay, there's no food, but hey, still we have our bread, we have our oil. We used to do, fry the bread and rub the garlic and pour the oil, and it was a yummy food. But next, electricity was gone. So we had only 2-3 hours of electricity a day. And then we said, what else can go wrong? Never ask that question. There's always something else that can go wrong. So next, we didn't have any heat. So here it was winter and we didn't have any heat. And it was pretty damn cold over here. So we used to cover ourselves with 2 or 3 blankets and, joke about it. We have a good sense of humor. When you have problems, you learn to joke about them. We used to heat ourselves in the kitchen because we still have the gas, we have the gas stoves. So we used to wash our hairs and dry them, in front of the gas, the stove. And then they cut the gas. We only had it 1 or 2 hours a day. And I always said, well, that's not so bad. We have each other. So thank God we had each other. And then there was no more television. We had only like 2 hours of television a day. It was pretty fun. It was only politics. It was Ceausescu talking about the glorious, fantastic times that we are living. So, looking back at those times now, so many years after the revolution, the liberation of our country, people don't even want to talk about it. Nobody wants to remember it. Young generations say, oh God, just leave me alone. That was a long time ago. Now everything is perfect. What can go wrong? But things can go wrong. And it's not always something that we can control. But honestly, I am very grateful for those times. It was tough, but as my father used to say, and I know I told that to Skip one time, we were taught to think. We were taught to control our minds. We were taught how to really ponder and be wise when we speak, what we say, because all things being considered, there was a very, very serious threat, the secret police during the communist regime. So you were not allowed to just go around, telling what you think about the way things are, because you risk not to be there next day. So there were tough times, difficult times, but very profound in the way that it kept our families together. Our grandparents told us stories about the wars and the problems during the wars. So resilience, I think, and a good sense of humor, because we used to make lots of jokes and lots of fun about the times that we were going through. But we had each other. We were very united. We were very devoted. And I think the family, the union, the unity of the families and the big, big love, and the fact that we were going through tough times together was very, very important. and it taught us how to improvise. It taught us how to overcome. It taught us how to adapt. Okay, you don't have this, but you have that. You know, this is lacking, but you have something else. We didn't have television, we had books. You know, we didn't have books, we had stories, real life stories from our grandparents, from our parents. So there was always that shining light. Like my daddy used to say, Cammy, no matter how deep the darkness, there's always a shining light at the end of the tunnel.
Beautiful. Beautiful. In fact, guys, that's a mic drop in the best way, because, you know, what you shared, so much words of wisdom, so many, you know, pearls of great price, as they would say. You know, we can learn from those that have been before. We've been doing the legacy series here, and I think that what you just shared right now definitely falls within that whole idea of the legacy series. And I think that we need to keep bringing it forward to our future generations, that these stories are ones that we need to learn from. And there are, you know, that humor piece is what I kept hearing coming through. I heard a lot of what you were sharing of what was happening. Yet, okay, look at, you don't have this, but you have this. Look at, there you go. So many wonderful words of wisdom that were shared. I want to right now go on to one more video, and then I'm going to open it up a bit. Skip, this is something you shared this morning, and we're going to play it right now.
Hello, planet Earth. This is Skip, also known as Poe, coming from the bunker and the Nature Connection in Fox, Arkansas. So what I'm going to do is a brief message to show you the bunker, kind of what is unloading here into this. I'm a filmmaker, and here's the office. This goes, it's actually going to be cut up to use for insulation. Edit suite's going to be over there, and so forth. Janice Clark, many of y'all know, is part of, started this whole thing a year ago near Fox, Arkansas, which is about 2 hours to Branson. Here's my office. There's what I call Lucy, my RV. Over here are some tents that were set up for storage, and we have a storm coming. This is a 32-foot, what we call the bunker, got delivered this past week. There's Buster, who's about 20 years old. There's Janice and her tiny house. There's Janice over there in her studio, leatherwork. She has kids programs. Lucy, tractor, bunker, unloading. What also is being prepared. We've got septic tank, electrical, RV hookups for people. Way over there is a generator. Should power go out, it runs off propane. But anyhow, this is a Nature Connection. It's on 24 acres in nature, beautiful place, and just hard at work before the storm hits. We're at the precipice of a lot of changes, and so I'm excited as a filmmaker, storyteller, to be able to do it. And I'll be doing it from right over there. You'll see a lot of the work broadcast out of that place there.
Yay! Yeah, I want to also recognize our studio audience, and we've got, you know, Janice is here, you know, and amazing survival story. Cammy, bless you for your ability to accept things as they are and move forward bravely. I couldn't said it better myself. We actually have Joy, who is a contributor also today and one of our show hosts. And she says, be prepared for the unacceptable. Being prepared for the unexpected. Thank you, dear Camelia Cammy, amazing. And, you know, so many more. We want to recognize our digital studio audience, and we want to also say to Teresa Schneider, great show that she had shattered her ankle and that she's being inspired. We want to send you healing blessings, my dear, and, you know, our best to you, and may you be up and going quickly. And so with that, you know, I want to open this up right now, and then we're going to see a little bit more about the nature connection, because I'm hearing a lot of common themes here. I'm hearing, yes, preparedness, and anybody that knows me knows I'm a geek about it. And let's just be real, I'm an absolute geek. I'm not embarrassed about it. I have been ever since I was a little girl, and I have all these little things to be able to share with you. Sure, yeah. The reality of it is there's the combination of the actual physical preparedness. We need to do it. We do. Because even as Rae was sharing, if you are prepared and you have that much more that you can share with others, if there is that moment in time, and you're not going to be drawing resources that they may need. It's that vice versa, giving, you know, healing through connection, community. I'm also hearing a lot about nature, a lot about mindset, a lot about acceptance, and a lot about humor. I want to go into an open discussion with our panel. Who would like to start? Okay, I figured you did. Okay, so I'm going to start with Sharla. Would you like to start?
Oh, I do. And oh my gosh, Skip, you are my kind of man, the nature connection. How absolutely awesome. But I want to relate to how many times I have heard the expression, expect the unexpected. It has come out here from our panelists, but also from those watching. And I want to share something that I have learned. Because yes, we never do expect the unexpected, but there's something more important. Respect. Change that from expect to respect. Respect the unexpected, because when the unexpected happens, we learn, we grow, and we thrive from that experience. And that's what I wanted to share. And of course, just dance with nature, because that is what it's all about. We are connected to nature, so we need to live that connection and stay healthy. So thank you.
And in fact, you just did something kind of like the dance with nature thing and everything just in the last few weeks, right? On a TEDx talk.
Yep. On October the 11th in Billings, Montana, I was honored to have been selected to give a TED Talk, and it was Dance with the Earth, Partner with Nature. And from that venture, actually, I've written a book, and it's by the same title. So it's just, there's so much for us to learn from the natural world, and to realize that nature is life, and life is nature. And for us to really fulfill our life's purpose, everything was given here on our earth, not for us just to step out the door and say, oh my, what a beautiful day. Oh no, there's just so much more beneath that. And we need to grow and learn from it. Yes, thank you.
Okay, who would like to add to that right now? Is there anybody? Because I did say open discussion. Yes, go ahead, Wanita.
Absolutely loved what you've been sharing, all the panelists on here. Fantastic insights. First of all, I just want to say to Poe, our dear Skip, the most beautiful thing I saw in that video is Buster. Please give him a hug from me. He is just an angel. And, you know, animals have a very, very important role in our lives as well. So nature, very important. I come from South Africa, you know, as mentioned before, and around my farmhouse is mountains as far as you can see. And that nature connection, that energy that I get, even when walking barefoot
on the grass out there. It's just a different channel. And we have to make sure, guys, we are busy. We get so busy with our schedules. Make sure at least once a day you walk barefoot on the grass. Look at the sunrise. Try to look at the sunset. But make that connection and stay in alignment with yourself and the universe and energy. It's very, very important. The second thing I wanted to say about what our dear sister Sharla shared, yes, the unexpected, it's a blessing. Really, the unexpected is a blessing for us because it helps us to grow. And Sister Cammy said something. She mentioned adaptability. Now, adaptability, that is the focal point of survival, because let's be honest, guys, we can make 1,000 plans, but they are not all going to pan out exactly 100% like we put them in place. We can pack those bags, we can have our pile of clothes there with our comfortable shoes, but we have to check it every day, because how many of us in the panel here today and in the audience have packed for a long period of time for an expected trip, and while you're on the road, you've already left the house an hour ago, someone will say, oh no, I forgot this or this item. Has that happened to you before? So make sure you check your bag. I see Tamara putting her hand up. I see somebody. So make sure you check it every single day and make little notes, make little mental notes for yourself, and then put them into place. But the connection you have, your mentality for survival, you have to work on that every single day, and you get stronger when you work on your spiritual life. Yes, I fight with these, but I was a pastor for 15 years and I help people to get mentally and emotionally and spiritually stronger. Work on your mentality, work on your spiritual life every day, because that is your backbone. That is what's shaping your character, and that's what's going to pull you through in that moment of crisis. Thank you for letting me share.
You're
Very
welcome,
beautiful.
Cammy. I'm sensing that you want to share something here.
Yes, everybody, somehow we all feel the same things and we all voice the same feelings, and it's so good. You just feel like being at home. So thank you for sharing, all of you. And you're so right, all of you. Nature is so important. So many people are so depressed, but they never walk out of the house. They take pills and Xanax and you name it. They drink or do drugs. But it's so much easier to just step out of the house and go walk in the park, wherever, by a river, by a lake, go hug a tree. It doesn't matter if people are laughing at you. My hubby and I used to walk every day. We walk 3 or 4 miles a day. Everybody laughs. They call us, walking crazy people. But we walk because we love it. Because, each time you walk, you see, and you feel life, and you see nature, and you become one with life, one with everything. And then animals. Yes, I was blessed to have one. I adopted a cat. I adopted it because, she was lost and skinny and whatnot. And I loved cats, and everybody was against it. And I was kind of depressed because I didn't have any clients. I didn't make any money. I didn't have any income. And I was really down on myself and feeling sad and ashamed. My mother was expecting me to be very successful. I came from America. I had so many degrees. She was expecting me to be very successful. Well, guess what? Nobody came. So in all my being down time, I was thinking, okay, what to do? Well, God sent me a very, very wonderful divine gift. Send me a cat. I adopted her. Little that I know, she was pregnant. She gave birth to 3 more cats that nobody wanted. So I adopted those 2. So now I have 4 cats. So for the past 4 years, I've been really, really, honestly, truly blessed to take care of 4 black cats. So people who are afraid of black cats, they don't come visit anymore. But, they brought so much purpose. They brought so much purpose to my life. Honest to God, nature, animals, and that's honest, sincere spirituality. I mean, whatever our belief system is, you like to meditate, you like to pray, you like to walk in nature. It matters not, but just take time to connect to be in that energy, to really be one with that energy. And I think it's so important to get to know ourselves in our truth, in our honest self, without the makeups, without the degrees, without what I am and who I am, just sincerely who I am as a human being. No achievements, no people try to influence us, either that they like us or dislike us. But do we feel okay and at ease with our own selves? And how much of our own selves do we allow others to see in us? How much good do we do in this world? What do we do with our lives? When times are tough, am I a blessing for the others, or am I a burden for the others? Do I lift them up, or do I take them down? So I think we have so much responsibility in our freedom to be responsible for ourselves and for many others who perhaps are lost, perhaps are scared, perhaps are depressed, perhaps they are lacking. So let's do lots and lots of good. Like my daddy used to say, Cammy, if you cannot do lots of good in this world, no problem. But at least don't do too much evil. So
I love it.
He was so sweet.
He's got the best quotes. You get another one of these for all of that. Comments.
May I follow up on something right quick? I'll make it quick.
Yeah,
when
I do want to go into, we're going to go into a video next. And yes, Sharla, go ahead.
I'll make it quick. When Cammy made the comment about go out and hug a tree, that was part of my TED Talk. And guys, believe it or not, would you like to know what kind of shoes I wore for my TED Talk?
Sure.
None. I was barefoot. I did it barefoot. And I'm telling you, and I squeezed my toes in that rug just like I was a little girl standing in a mud puddle. It was just absolutely awesome. But Cammy, thank you so much for everything that you shared about nature. You just brought that out from your heart. And just thank everyone. The panel is just absolutely fabulous. Thank you.
Well, good. Fabulous. We like that word. Okay, we are going to talk a little bit about nature. Janice, with Janice's voice.
I'm starting with what I can afford and what I can do right here. I receive messages from God. He has called me to do this, and I must do it. And the fact that other people think I'm crazy, it really doesn't matter. I'm beyond that point. I believe that we're put here on this earth to love and help each other. And I have found a lot of therapeutic value to being quiet with the animals, to walking in the woods and, being among the leaves changing color and the seasons changing, and learning the calls of the birds and the squirrels and all that sort of thing. Through this process of being in touch with nature, people can discover the peace that they find in being in nature. Seems like my whole life has been building up to this point. Like, now that I've given you all of this knowledge and all of these experiences, and this is part of your spirit, what are you going to do with it? And I don't want to just get old and die. I want to share this with others.
So that is the nature connection of which you're at right now, Skip Poe. And And we want to say thank you, Janice, for being in the digital audience right now and everything that you do to inspire so many when it comes to nature, the nature connection, and your vision. And and you did say this when you took us on that little current, video of this morning, and you can see the changes, that there's been some growth that's taken place. And you did mention in there, okay, we are prepared, just if this, then that. And that's going to take me into the next video that I do want to share, because this is a fine balance, guys. We are living in a time right now where there's a lot going on. Let's just be real. We mentioned it. Skip mentioned it. The weather is coming in. I'm in the Ozarks too. I'm 2 hours north. And yes, we've been hearing there's weather coming in. And those that are in Florida, they're hearing there might be weather coming in. And there's so much more. This is happening throughout the world. Mindset, our heart, getting back to nature, and also having some actual, let's just be real, some actual physical preparation. There's a balance. And Joy sent in a video. She's on a trip right now, and yet before she felt inspired enough, because she knew this topic was coming up, she wanted to share this with all of you. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Joy Willett, and I wanted to share something with you all that I highly encourage you to go do if you can. I've become part of the CERT team. CERT here stands for Community Emergency Response Team Member, and it is a free training put on by your local township, so look it up. And what it is that we are trained to be the volunteer first responders in our community, to be there waiting and helping and doing the greatest good for the greatest number of people in the shortest amount of time before the real emergency first responders get on the scene in case of a disaster. So I just wanted to show you quickly some of the really cool things that we get and we are trained in. And just feels so good to be trained in this stuff right now. So we have our field operations guide. As you can see, I'm wearing this reflective vest. I've got my hat here. We've got a hard hat also for going into buildings and in unsafe places. We've got gloves, first aid kits. This is in my backpack. Safety goggles, gloves. We have different kinds of gloves. We have the nitrile gloves also. And then we have glow sticks. I've got masks. I've got flashlights. And I've got also a wrench for turning off utilities in case of fire or an earthquake situation where we need to do that. Splints for our basic first aid, we bring triage, all of these things that make us and myself feel like I can actually do something to help in case of a disaster or an emergency situation in my town. So some people just take CERT so they can be trained for their own family or just their neighbors. Some people, like myself, like to sign up and be willing and able to be deployed in their community in case of something happening. So go CERT, check it out, and always be prepared and be safe.
So we're about to, rounding it up on the show. So the question on the end of each of these video clips was, are you ready? And I want you out there to ask yourself, to ask your family, to ask your friends, your neighborhood, your community. Are we ready? And we've been talking about practical readiness, mindset readiness, attitude, and adding that humor and the elements that are free, nature. And so as we round this up, there's one last clip before we go to the end of today and get some last comments. I want to remind people that are here in the United States that we have, we're in the land of the free and home of the brave, right? And Tuesday, we want to encourage you all to get out there, use your voice, use your vote. It's fabulous. So, do it. There you go. And we also, I said, this is something that we do in honor of those that of our audience. And we're going to go ahead and do this, and then we're going to go ahead and close up. One of the things we do in preparedness is we always prepare our hearts and our souls for those that have gained their wings that are very important to us, and that is our club. We honor them today. And so as we close up, I'd like to hear from each of you. We've got roughly, 6-7 minutes left. So a couple minutes, minute and a half each. What would you like to share? What are you feeling inspired to share, to leave with everyone? And I'm going to start with you, Sharla.
I'm going to leave you with the thought I've already said. Respect the unexpected. I think that's very, very important. And to know that in our lives, situations are going to occur. We cannot control it. But those that do come are learning experiences. And we can learn by them, grow by them, and help others in the process. And I believe that's most important. And thank you for everyone here, because each one of you opened your heart and shared so much insight, a lot that I know I will carry home with me in my life. Thank you.
Thank you. Very well said. Wanita.
Thank you so much to this wonderful panel for a very informative show. Thank you to everybody that was on here making comments, all the beautiful videos. Tamara, this was yet another fabulous show, and you are a fabulous host. Hugs to everybody on here. I just want to say, don't forget, we are preparing mentally, we are preparing physically. Keep yourself and your family in prayer. Don't forget to pray every day. It's very important that you show love to yourself, that you show love to your family, your community. Here we just watched a video of CERT, which is to help community. Make sure you are that person that is informed, that is trained. Make sure you are that person that's the first out there to help, as our wonderful panelists said, as many people as possible, as soon as possible. Be of service. We are here to live a life of service. And then I also want to say, you have the opportunity to vote. And Tuesday is a very important day. So get your vote in, guys, because your opinion matters. This is your life. This is your future. Guys, be prepared. Always keep shining your light. Keep that energy going. And don't forget to pray. Pray every single day, because at the end of the day, God has the final say in everything. Thank you so much for having me on the panel today.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Cammy.
Well, I will use this moment to say that I have lived in so many places in this world, but America amazed me and impressed me the most. In all truthfulness, I have never seen anywhere else a most sincere sense of community like I have seen and lived in America. So what I would like to say is never, ever, ever to take it for granted, because it is something divine. It is something unique. I think it is the greatest blessing for Americans to be Americans and to really be united in the toughest, the most difficult times. I always saw people helping each other above and beyond anybody else in the world. So never forget, yes, comes times to vote. Be very aware, be very conscious, be very truthful. What are your values? Stand true to the values, and always stay united. Stay united as a nation, a wonderful nation, a beacon of light, a beacon of freedom that is sending its light all over the world. It is very important. It is very important. Don't take it lightly. Be responsible, be aware, and yes, like Juanita said, keep praying, keep believing, ask for divine guidance to do the right thing for the greatest good of humanity.
Beautiful. Beautifully said. Skip, Poe. You're muted.
How about now? How about now? What a great show. What a great panel. What a great topic. And everybody who, so many key words and thoughts. And, you hear the response of, the adaptability, but Cammy used the word earlier of awareness, and which is thinking, being aware of what's happening, respecting the unexpected. And, we don't know what that's going to be. So do we respond out of anger or fear or whatever? No, love, hope, gratitude, humor, which she went into. And one of the funniest things Cammy used to say was, my God, what all these things are happening. What about this? What do you think's going to happen here? And her father, which, we talk about legacy a lot. You heard the legacy of her father through her words, but her father would say, well, what about this? Oh my God, what do you think's going to happen? Her father had a great quote was, we'll find out soon enough. Meaning when you cross over. Remember that, Cammy? I thought that's perfect. Get all worried about what's gonna it's we'll find out soon enough, when we cross over. So thank you, Tamara. And Joy, what a great piece you did. So
thank you, Skip, for inviting me. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And in fact, what I want to do is spend just a few minutes with something that actually to write it down, because these are 8 things that if you just do these things and then just get it done, then you're going to feel a lot better should there be the need. And that is, number 1, have a little bit of cash on hand. Number 2, make sure that your vehicles are gassed up and keep them gassed up. Number 3, make sure that you have your pantry stocked as much as possible, like what was shared with Cammy. And if you can do it, keep adding to it and rotate it. Next is make sure water and some way to purify the water. Look into it. There's many different ways. Next, pets. That's a whole nother area. They have needs and you want to make sure of it. Rae even talked about that. Then next is the 72-hour bag, the bug out bag, go bag. You can look that up. Many great resources. It has great information. Have one for each person and each pet. And then the next thing, and then also make sure you have some kind of radio kind of situation. And then make sure at the end, if you know that something is going to be happening, any kind of events, weather events, that you do last minute errands. With that, I want to say thank you for all being with us. It was a fabulous show. And next week, again, will be another fabulous show. We have Kim. She will be the host.
Thank you.
Then make it a wonderful week and go out and vote if you're in the United States. Goodbye. I want to say thank you for joining us today and welcome you back next Sunday as we once again are joined by a panel of subject matter experts that will explore and focus in on our fabulous lives. Until next Sunday.